Oh my God, wasn't that fantastic, folks? I'm gobsmacked at the fucking talent we have here. Now I'm increasing the size of the podium thing here because our next act is very, very tall. Please, a very, very talented poet, please. Jim Broyne, everybody.
Thank you very much. I've got 4 poems for you tonight, and the first one is called Royal Ages. There's a few men I can see around this room who will understand this poem completely, and a few others who will not. Okay, Royal Ages. A young married man is virile and strong, and the father of a young family is a king. He can do no wrong. But the ruler of a teenage princess is a dolt and a bore, and the vassal of an old queen is just a mat on the floor. Oh, that was it. Okay, the second poem is called The Old Man and the Gull. Old man sitting by the sea, remembers life as it used to be, sees a gull take off to fly, to glide and spin across the sky. Youthful, hold on folks. I'll resort to the bit of paper. Flaunting youthful grace on wing, pure plumage with a song to sing. A salty breeze from the surging sea tosses that gull so wild and free, and it brings a tear to the old man's eye as he remembers how time goes by, and the tide of age, like a sordid thing, too soon will clip that free bird's wing. Thank you. Now, I've suffered from dyslexia all my life. Sean there was telling me that he also has had to endure the same condition. I think my times in school, back in the primary school in the 1960s, were somewhat more difficult because it wasn't really understood back then. So soon after my wife and I were married, I was writing some Christmas cards, and she gave off to me because I was misspelling names and such like. So I wrote this poem really in anger. It's called Dyslexia. I can't spell, you know. I never could. Experts call it dyslexia. They would. A word I couldn't spell. Typically funny. Just another reason to be branded dummy. No sweeties for me after the spelling test. Just a teacher's lecture and other kids' jest. Lots of lines, maybe even a ruler on knuckles. Willpower needed, or else one buckles. He's as thick as champ, or a bit slow. Lots of talk, but they didn't know. Just put up the back of the class. Absolutely no chance of an 11 plus pass. Childhood years pass, gone forever. It isn't funny in school, being non-clever. The best years of your life, they say. I couldn't wait for to get away. They brought in experts to teach, and they did their best to outreach, but I didn't even understand why I was there. Words didn't become any less of a blur. Break up your words, they all say. Spell it in little bits is the way. But to me, a word is just a big lump. You spell a whole lot in just one jump. It's a flaw in the memory, seems to be part of the cause. 50 times you might repeat without pause, and you think you're doing just fine. Yes, spell it differently on the next line. Yes, it's a life's embarrassment, the spelling curse. It's only a deficiency. Could be worse. Some people are born to a life of pain, and others are born with other scrambled bits of brain. So, the next time you're having a laugh at the dummy's idiotic spelling gaffe, remember, your talents may be but few, and this dyslexic does better poetry than you. Okay, I'm going to have to read the next one from a piece of paper here because I haven't memorized it. The subject, I don't think the subject material would have been heard here before. If I can find my piece of paper. Hold on a wee second. My piece of paper. Oh, here it is, sorry. So, there's probably a SWAT team sitting outside ready to extract me from the venue if things go drastically wrong. So bear with me, and we'll see what we make of this poem. I'm sure the title of it has never been mentioned here before. It's called The Sash. On the 12th of July, in the bygone days of yore, when men were parading in the mayhem of 74, Billy, my father, took us south of the border to find solace from the northern state of disorder. He had booked a week on the banks of the Boyne in a townhouse rented from the redoubtable Mrs. O'Coin. And the house, yes, it was old and it was beautiful, and its colours were, well, grey and 70s suitable. The journey had been long on that rocky Dublin road, in a car jam-packed for a week at the holiday abode. 5 kids squabbling and fighting for all they were able, and still hard at it as they fed around the kitchen table. From this mayhem, Billy decided to escape for a while. Ah, the luxury of a holiday bath, he said with a smile. And he tramped his way up the creaking old stairs to wash and soak away all his worries and cares. It was lovely and hot, relaxing in the bathtub, feeling all fresh and shiny after a good scrub. But all this cleaning and getting well lathered meant that a great cloud of steam had gathered. After a while of this cloud, he became aware, so he decided to clear the hot, steamy air. Out of the bath he hopped and to the window went, put his hand on the latch, ready to vent. Now, a sash window is quite an impressive thing. To operate, it needs a couple of weights on a string, a pair of wooden grooves to slide in, and a latch, and not overpainted or else it will catch. As I said, there should be weights in a string. They're there to counterbalance the thing. But in this house, the sash cords had rotted away. There was no counterbalance there that day. So, unlatching the window set the top sash free, and it accelerated down at the speed of gravity. His fingers were still in the gap as the sash rushed down, still there as the sashes closed with a crunching sound. 4 fingers were trapped in an explosion of pain between the 2 sashes in their very solid frame. Billy let out a holler of astonished disbelief, writhing and twisting in a vain search for relief. He found himself in a position like one crucified. So to relieve the pain, he clambered up on the bath side. One leg stretched across, braced on the basin. Head twisted out the window, cruel world a-facing. And this is how we found him when alerted to his plight. A contorted, pain-racked body, a horrifying sight. Frosted glass may be designed to provide dignity, but not when pressed up tight against it. Zero modesty. His awful wailing was soon heard all over the town. Before long, a small crowd had gathered around, boys pointing and giggling in a most disparaging way, parents covering daughters' eyes as Billy turned grey. Rescue was a problem, for he was on the first floor, and he had locked the very solid bathroom door. Quick-thinking Mr. O'Coin shimmed up the soil stack and, using a poker, prized the sashes apart a crack. Billy fell backwards and thudded to the floor. The assembled crowd rushed inside, up to the door, banging and shouting until admitted to the room. And there stood Billy, every finger looking like a spoon. My poor mother didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Oh, Billy, she wailed with tears in her eye. Weeping or hysterical laughter, it was very hard to say, but you would have laughed if you saw what we saw that day. We took him to the local hospital for to get an X-ray. No bones were broken, though I feel I should say. Hospital staff may be trained to be professional and cool, but after Billy's story, giggles and laughter broke every rule. Those fingers were strange at first, a bit green and gold, but they healed well, and the story grew the more it was told. He is gone now, but we remember him in our family lore. The story of that 12th, and the sash my father bore. I was just thinking, actually, there's a little limerick I have. It's a very ropey verse here. See if I can remember. There was a young, and for Sean here, because he's organising this show to raise money for Palestine. There was a young poet called Sean Org, who was very keen on the poetic word. So for Palestine, he invited us to rhyme, to raise funds, and that would be his reward.